Okay, it's going.
I built this chicken tractor, and a lot of people have inquired into, they want to know how it was made and the blueprints. I'm not going to make blueprints for it. This is just something, my idea of a chicken tractor. For our use, I wanted it to be able to be easily moved by my wife, and I wanted it to last a long time. I don't want to have to make another one. And I want it to be light, and everything about it to be user-friendly. So I just took lumber that I already had, which was 2x4s, and it is 7 feet wide and 12 feet long. I had 12-foot 2x4s that I had extra, so I just ripped down 2x4s into 2x2s for everything on the top. The bottom is a 2x4, so the bottom frame is still a 2x4. I wanted it to give it a little beef near the ground. So the basic frame is 2x2 with plywood, screwed gussets on all the corners, and 2x2s running across the middle where the hinge point is. We have a 1/2 inch wire mesh around the bottom. I was told that coons could reach through regular chicken wire, which I have on the top, and so we opt out to buy that. There's very few things that I had to buy on this. I had most of everything besides some of the hardware. So I wanted it so that it's easy to feed. So the way this works is, this is just chicken wire top with 2 layers of plastic, a good piece of black plastic underneath so that it keeps dry. And then I put this old chicken house screen white side up to keep the heat off on the outside so that it lasts longer. This whole thing is the door. You simply lift it up. This is the stick in which you put in a hole here and here, and now it holds itself. As you lift the top, it raises the feeders. So now you can put feed in, very simple. You don't have to get in with the chickens, and you don't have to pull anything out. When you go to move the chickens, you just raise this up so it's not dragging on the ground. It's just chicken wire underneath so that if raccoons or anything get on the top, they can't get through. 2x2s for extra bracing to keep everything straight. And then my bracing in there, that keeps the center from bowing. So when we go to move it, you would have this stick in. Otherwise, the top just sits down. This is a little thing just to hold the stick so it don't go anywhere. We have a latch here, so we can latch it so the wind can't blow it up. A handle, of course, to pick it up. And I ripped some 2x4s here to keep the plastic from flapping and to hold it down. And I let the plastic hang over the edge of everything else so that it's to just make it last longer. So when we go to butcher the chickens, we want to be able to bring the chickens out into a small pen so it's easier to get them instead of chasing them in there. I made this door. So this door is where the chickens can come out. And it's just, I took a 2x2 and ripped it down to use it a little bit smaller and make the door a little lighter. And the hook is just to help raccoon proof it. So then you come over here, and we don't like hauling water. So this was my idea of a self renewing water system. I just bought a bowl. It's just a plastic bowl from a hardware store and a stock tank float. And I had to build a wedge here to keep the float level and just clamped it on. And I made a shelf that's screwed to the 2x4 and runs through. Now the wire is made so that it goes all the way around and inside the bowl and in under the float a little bit. It fits tight, so not even a snake can get through here. A raccoon can't get through. The wire's stout. If you need to clean the bowl, you can either unhook the hose and wash it out, or you take the bungee cord off and you would pull the bowl out. Like in the winter time, we'll remove the bowl, or any time that we're not having chickens in here. And here's our water. It's just a short, I think that's a 3-foot hose. And we just connect it to a garden hose. So there's no hauling water. You just move the hose when you move the chicken tractor. And over on this side, I looked up on YouTube several people's ideas on how the wheels should work. So this is what I came up with using multiple ideas of other people's. This is a wheel from Lowe's. I think it goes on a self-propelled push mower. And I bought a 1/2-inch carriage bolt, 5.5 inches long, and it runs through this 2x2, if you'll come down here. So the carriage bolt head is here, goes through the 2x2. On this one, this bolt was short, so I normally used a lock nut here, and I squeeze it together so this part of the bolt doesn't move. It gives me a spacer. So there's the bolt, a washer, the nut, and normally with the longer bolt there would be another washer. Then your wheel with a lock nut, a washer, and a lock nut on the outside. The pivot point is 6 inches from here to here, and this pivot point is another 1/2-inch carriage bolt that is 5 inches long that goes through this 2x6, and it has a lock nut cinched to the 2x6 so that it cannot move or flex with a big washer. Then you have another washer, the bolt goes through, a washer, and a lock nut. And I cut the bolt off just past the lock nut so I'd have clearance on the wheel. So then to raise it, it raises it 3 to 3.5 inches. And it's simple leverage like that. This bolt is a smaller bolt. It's smaller than a 1/2 inch. These are some metric bolts that I just had laying around. I bolted it through this 2x6 with a nut and washer on it, and a washer on the inside. And this is rugged, so that's where your lever rests against. It's past center, way past center,